My energetic. My energy also in this bag.
It was about 5 minutes ago when I seen a hot chick that a youngin' never seen before. I say, oh, you're the girl I wanna be the. On second thought that it could be to go. I gotta give a game proper, spit it so she get it. If I gotta stop her, or should I talk about the smile? Or what about the style? I'm out of time. She's out the door, I gotta go for mine. Or should I talk about the smile? Or what about the style? I'm out of time. She's out the door, I gotta go for mine.
Say yeah.
And I gotta be there, like it, make it want to see how I love you, keep you here with me, your baby. That's what they grab hold of my hand, and that's what they don't know is how I say it don't really care. Just like this, with the music is moving you back. I'm a man. Like this, so you make it want to see how I love you, keep you here with me, your baby. And I say, and I gotta be that like this, so you make me want to baby, so many things I want to do. I think that I should start by saying, yeah, I gotta do a big number, ready to forget that the end I got a number.
1, 2, 2. Hey, that's up, y'all. When you got to see on YouTube. Put that back so we'll give me some more time up in this joint. You wanna be where you are. So I'm live and direct on the radio. 1, 2, 1, 2. I know it's been a long time, fam. It's been a long time. I've been live and direct. All right. Been so long, I gotta learn how everything works again, you know. Make sure I got my voice all right too. Yeah. So, a little easy on my band. It's been a while. Even got this new TikTok thing running, so we'll see what's going on with that thing. Right. Two times.
Straight to a penthouse, Miami Beach. Talk crazy on tweets. They don't want it cause I come to defeat. I keep the heat down sweet. Man, move sticks out in the Jeep. It's a new weirdo every week. Get the way, put it up for my seeds. No play for the eye, just no you anything for clout. You anything for clout. You anything for clout. You anything for clout. You anything for clout.
Back up in this joint.
I'm talking crazy. I need you right in my space, but I need it, baby. I'm late, but I still checking with you. I know that I need my friends, but I wouldn't wanna leave. You know, I wouldn't wanna bleed. My heart, my mind, my body.
All right, 1, 2, 1, 2. How's everybody doing?
I can't tell you what it is, but you got me going crazy. What you do is so amazing. How long can you go, baby? At last to my body so crazy. Baby, I'm talking crazy. I need you right in my space, but I need it, baby. I'm late, but I check in with you. I know that I need my friend, but I wouldn't wanna leave. You know, I wouldn't wanna bleed. My heart, my mind, my body.
Over here, my damn tablet. All right. Back up in here. All right. together. All right. Stop that there. Let's start here. Been a long time. Welcome back, everybody. So welcome back to everybody to the Black Hot Fire Network show. I'm your host, Mr. Black Hot Fire. Always on that ass. And we're broadcasting live from the homeland of the United States of America all the way over to the mother continent of Africa. Because we're truly one of the only international radio programs, and that's what's up. I want to give a shout out to everybody following us on YouTube, everybody on Facebook, everybody on Rumble, everybody on X, whatever the hell that is, X/Periscope, I guess. Everybody listening to us on the flagship station, BlackHotFireNetwork.com, and all podcasting platforms globally. So strap on your head again, get ready for this ride, because here we go. Black Hot Fire. Come on. My damn tablet over. Heated for my damn we go live on damn on TikTok. What the hell? Woo! Come on. Black Hot Fire. Come on. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Woo! Black Hot Fire. Now you want to call the number 850-368-9102. Don't be afraid. You know we got you covered. That's 850-368-9102. We do it all for you. Black Hot Fire. Wait a second, guys. I'm going to try something different. My tablet ain't working. Let me try this. Here we go. 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 Black Hot Fire. Here we go. All right. All right, welcome back, everybody. It's been a minute. I know it's been a minute. So let's that's been the alarm because school's back in. Stupid. So I know like I said, I've been doing a regular show in the last 2.5 months, taking down channels here, right, left, and center. So I know it's gonna be hard for people to find us again. So we're on all platforms. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. We're on Rumble, Facebook. We're everywhere. X, whatever it's called. So I know there's been this has probably been talked about to endless extent, but this is what has been on my mind. So anybody want to feel free to call up and, call up with me, 850-368-9102 and express what they, got any questions or any, want to just conversate with me about it. Now, I want to talk about that coup that happened early this summer in Niger, and what are the global effects of this coup, right? Of the stated coup. But hold on, let me make sure. Let me check my radio. I gotta make sure we're live on the radio too. Give me a second. Check my radio feed. The effects of this coup, right? Of the stated coup. But hold on, let me make sure. Let me check my radio. All right, radio feeds. All right, we're live and direct on the radio as well. Okay. All right, so if you guys don't know, early part of this year, there was a military overthrow of the government in Niger. The puppet government. Now, if you guys have played chess, I'm an avid chess player. It's now exposed all these, African puppets, these pawns in the Western global banking scheme that's been going on for here in eternity since they supposedly got fake, independence, independence that never came, never transpired. And so what you have that happened was that these individuals had got tired of these terrorists, these Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Boko Haram, whatever new name they get, another CIA-backed terrorists, Americans and the West backed these terrorists in these said countries. See, they cause confusion so they can steal the resources out of there. That's how wicked the West foreign policy is. It is a foreign policy of complete degradation, complete it's not what I'm looking for. Exploitation. Excuse me, y'all. Complete exploitation is what you see over there, and no one has a problem with it. They call this fake democracy, family. It's always democracy. They're fighting for democracy, which is a nonsensical lie, because the democracy that they're talking about are the governments that they install with their fake elections, right? That's why you always go read Machiavelli, the Prince. You have these fake elections that they control. CIA goes and they got the spies everywhere in Africa to make sure the West is able to extract these resources for little or nothing. That's why they put their puppets in there. So you never get upset about these puppets, right? You never get upset about these puppets who've been in there for 40 years, like your Paul Beers, your Museveni's, their goddamn Paul Kagame's, all them doing their bidding. They don't ever call these despots, they're these dictators. They don't ever say they're going against the Democratic code, because their democracies are false. They're just selected to be in there. No one's voted for no one for no 40 damn years simultaneously. But they would have us believe that these are fair, fair elections. Fair, transparent elections. So with ECOWAS, all these fake African organizations from ECOWAS, SADC in the South, and Eastern African Union, whatever they call that shit over in the East, it's all European backed, all European created to make sure they contain power over Africa, to make sure Africa stays impoverished and everybody extracts the resources out of Africa for their own benefits. Okay? That's what this is about. So they can extract the resources out of Africa for said benefit, and then call the people poor as if they haven't been plunged into poverty on purpose. As if it's an accident that these people find themselves in poverty. So with the military junta, they had devised a scheme to go ahead and take Mohammed Bazoum's phone calls as he was talking to the Princeton Americans, because the military were the ones being killed, terrorist organizations that have been set up by the West. All terrorism is the CIA. Understand this? That is the military industrial complex, keeping terrorism gone so they can go into countries and steal the resources and say they're fighting terrorism. But the terrorists are on their payroll. You never had so much terrorism until they say they come in to fight terrorists. And all these bases in everybody's country, they're not there to keep any peace. They're there to keep the peace of your resources and then stop anybody that tries to stop that flow of resource and money going to the West. It's a parasitic relationship that the West has had with Africa for the last 400 years. It's parasitical. If everybody's on the TikTok, I can't even read it. It's too small on my phone. It's a parasitical relationship. No one's had any problem with that until now. These individuals are starting to fight back and saying enough is enough, right? Now, I don't know about these shooting in Jacksonville. Michelle, not yet. I haven't even looked it up. You have to tell me about it. Fill me in the comments what it's about, and I'll try to look it up. I haven't looked at any shootings in America at all. What's going on, Jibber Jabber? So, I deal that the West, and I love it because France is so upset that they've been cut off. Now, understand, they've had mining companies from France in all of their former colonies, family. They're supposed to left, but France never left. They set up some fake-ass paperwork and made these individuals sign back in the 60s that France would take complete control of the country, have control of the resources, right? Have control of the resources, and then also use their currency, the franc, whatever they call the CFA franc. CFA franc was given out to all these African countries that were former colonies of France. It's the most wickedest shit you've ever seen. So wicked, so evil. But they want to tell you Africa's poor. It's poor because the West is parasitical. So, along with that, they thought they were going to build a pipeline from Nigeria, going through Niger, then from Niger up to Algeria, then across the Mediterranean, up into France, and then dispersed into Germany and the other European powers, because the American government blew up the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. The American government blew that up. All this fake ass media that we have. Oh, is it the Russians and all kind of nonsense? There'll be no benefit for the Russians to blow up their own pipeline that was making them money distributing oil and gas to Europe. Would not be in their benefit to do that. So we know it was the United States. So sadly enough, we're in a country that has most of the hegemony around the damn planet. And we get gaslighted with fake news reports over and over again with this fake news. And it's funny, Trump was right. When Trump was saying this 6-7 years ago, calling the news fake, it turns out he was correct. It's all fake, propagandist ass news, and people have been walking away from it. And that's a good thing. Nothing but mind control and propaganda. Remember, they were telling that Ukraine was winning. Ukraine. You also heard on CNN, MSNBC, CBS, Ukraine is winning. Ukraine is winning. Oh my God, Ukraine is going to have a spring assault. How'd that go? I think my AC is messed up. I think my AC is messed up, guys. How'd that spring assault go? You said my sound is scratchy? Maybe I got too loud. Let me tone it down. It's been so long since tell me how it sounds now, Jibba Jabba. I got too loud. Yeah, exactly. Your name. Let me know how it sounds now. I might have had the sound too long. Let me know. Let me know how it sounds now, Jibba Jabba. Yeah. Let me know if my sound is all right now. I might have the mics too loud. That might be the problem. I had the mics too loud. Yeah, I see the red. I see it's going over. In my red thing. Let me turn my mics down just a little bit. How's that go? Yeah, so we know that the pipelines, the Nord Stream pipelines, are blown up by our Navy in Norway, as Jibba Jabba saying. But of course, when they first did it, our media had no clue. It was the Russians and all other kind of propagandist ass nonsense. So with them now building that pipeline, the leaders of Niger, the legitimate leaders, decided to blow it up. And kudos to them. See, the idea that these white people, these Europeans, think they would have free reign over African countries is absolutely absurd. While they developed off the back of African people and made it a resource colony, made Africa resource colonies, and installed all their puppets in the name of this fake democracy, they called it. It is a democracy, nothing to do with any democracy. It is a mockery. All right, cool. It is a mockery. So it is a mockery that's going on. Not even democracy, is a mockery that all these puppets have been installed. That's why whenever you see the Africans going across into Libya being put into slavery, none of these puppets say nothing. When the Africans are in Tunisia being put in the desert to die, these are acts of war. They're acts of war against African people. But mum's the word from any of these puppets. These puppets don't say a damn thing. They don't say nothing. These puppets don't act like nothing's going on. Mum's the word. Nothing to see here. Over and over again, time and time again. These puppets do not care about African people. They do not they do not build the countries up. They always vacation in Europe. Their kids go to school in Europe. Their bank accounts in Europe. So their allegiance is to Europe or America, not to Africa. So Putin got it right. How do you develop a graveyard? Because that's what these puppets see Africa as, a graveyard. So you guys know for years I've always been talking about this phony, this fraudulent ass Ghanaian handkerchief head Negro, Kofi Annan, whatever you pronounce his goofy name, Kofi Annan, Kofi Annan, whatever the hell his name is, right? And people didn't want to believe me because he gave good speeches. He gave relatively decent speeches, right? So should be banned from what? You guys got out there quick, huh? That man should be banned from something. I didn't know what they said. I didn't get a chance to read it. You guys got him out with the quickness. So A second, guys. So, they ain't moving no crap tonight. Okay, so that was funny. Y'all got him out of here quick. So, unbeknownst to me, right, is that now they're being exposed for the puppets they are, right? So they got this fake group called ECOWAS, was the Economic West African Bloc, whatever it's called, right? You know, Economic Bloc of West Africa or something like that. I don't know. Whatever the puppet organization is called, right? So you see the people of Niger were very happy that they threw out the French. The French had mining companies in there extracting all the resources for France by paying these people literally nothing, slave wages, because you're dealing with a parasitical people. Nothing but slave wages is what they were giving them, right? Nothing but slave wages, right? So now the president, Mohammed Bazoum, didn't know that the government, well, the military had bugged his phone. See, they already been in starting to have a slight suspicion that all these terrorist groups were somehow backed by the West. Because if no one had a job, how were they getting money to keep these assaults going? Who was funding these terrorist groups? Where was the funding going in one of the poorest places on the planet, the Sahel region? Okay? Who was funding all these terrorist groups? Most people were sitting around in the dark. So the military junta started to figure out, by enough common sense, from Mali, Guinea Faso, Guinea, and then Niger. Hey, the terrorists is funded by the same people that are supposedly in here to help us. All this fake lies they've been doing. So you destabilize a region so you can constantly keep stealing. That's what's going on in the Congo today. That's the richest piece of land on the planet. So it's constantly under threat of fake terrorism by the Western powers. So that's what's going on. So there's an awakening happening with the Africans finally, that they understand they must take back power in their countries. And so France went to ECOWAS and they were first deliberate. Oh, we're going to give you, goddammit. We're going to give you bastards 7 days to restore the democratically elected government. Now, common sense, they were on the side of the people. You seen the majority of people dance in the street, so you know that the election was a lie. This guy wasn't put in power by the people. So this democracy scam that the West has been running has been finally exposed for the scam that it always has been. A lie. A bald-faced lie. Because every single one of these puppets said they were interested in restoring the democratic leader, Mohammed Bazoum, to power. But clearly you see the people were not for him. So they didn't believe in democracy. So we got double speak. We got kabuki theater going on, where the will of the people doesn't matter because it's never mattered. It's about these foreign powers and the business interests. That's what this is about. That's what the CIA is. The CIA is not an organization that benefits the American people. It's a rob, kill, and steal organization for the various banker elites. That's what it was designed for. That's what it does. No, you can't find shit the Mossad, the CIA, nor MI6 done that's been the benefit of the regular man, the small man on the streets. It's always been about promoting economic power, stealing other people's resources. How dare you How dare you decide that your country resources are supposed to go to benefit you and your people? How dare you? How dare you believe that? That's the CIA's model. How dare you believe that your resources are supposed to benefit you and your people? How dare you? You know, I get my AC fixed. My God. I'm roasting up in here, y'all. Right. Where's the ammo? Yeah. Exactly. Who's funding all this shit? Exactly. Yeah, my soda's damn hot now. What's going on, kid? Yeah, so get people to follow some of this joint. So the funny part is that, like I said, you guys want to call in, feel free to call. The number is 850-368-9102. If you want to voice your opinion, don't be afraid. So you got anybody on this TikTok thing? Can't tell. So ideal, right? Exactly. So these people sit in abject poverty while these Western corporations have been extracting billions of dollars of resources from these people. They would extract the resources, sell them off to the other parts of the planet, and then talk about either give them like $100 million in fake aid, and then talking about they got to get a loan from the shit that they sold that came out of their country. That's the kind of wickedness we're dealing with, fam. So back to ECOWAS, right? You got the fake installed puppet that they put in Niger, right? This Tinubu, this drug dealer from Chicago that they installed over there in Nigeria. And recently you had the junta of Mali said, if anybody invades Niger, we're going to invade Abuja. And we're going to throw this Tinubu guy out and put the really elected individual that won the election. See, people know that these elections in Africa are all phony. And all the media says, oh, we must bring back democracy. Must bring back democracy that doesn't benefit nobody black. We must bring back democracy. No, it's other nonsense that never benefits anybody black on the ground ever. Democracy nonsense. Because the democracy they talk about is a mockery. Because all these elections, the CIA has had control of the world's elections for the last 60 years. And like I said, they've even stolen the election here in America. That's what all these fake indictments of Trump are. And it's funny, we've never seen a president be indicted all the time, over and over again. Even if you're a Democrat, you should be able to see that this is politically motivated. If you're not an absolute moron, if you can't critically think that what they're doing to Trump is out of the ordinary, is illegal, trying to stop him from running because he's too far ahead. That's how you know Biden never won no election. I think Biden's down 70 points. He was down then. So they're going to start this same old starting up again, this fake COVID shit again. They're going to start this fake COVID shit and try to replay all that mail-in ballot nonsense so they can steal another election. See, the Democratic Party can't run on shit, can't run on this record. It has the worst, heinous record you could think of. Endless wars in Ukraine. Still ain't got your reparations, but you ain't never gonna get. Shout out to these morons talking about cut the check nonsense. Told you about listening to idiots. We're on the verge of economic collapse because BRICS is now being started to put in place. So you needed land, you needed seeds, but you start growing your own food and be self-sufficient. Now we're about cutting no check that you was never going to get because the United States is insolvent. We're bankrupt. with $32 trillion in debt. And the only reason why nobody's calling that debt in is because we print the money. That's why. America is insolvent. Yeah, what's up, Dan?
Yeah, what's up, people? What's going on, bro?
Hello. Hold on, give me a second. Yeah, go ahead now.
Okay, yeah.
All right,
Nah.
Go ahead.
What I believe they're gonna do with the Trump situation is like, because he's part of the establishment too. But what they're gonna do with him is like they just having him going through all the motions for kabuki theater basically to give him some credibility amongst the people. So that way, you know what I'm saying, like they probably gonna release him and then, you know what I'm saying, have a run again. So that way he can, you know what I'm saying, round up like all the people and mislead them and stuff. Pretty much like that.
That could
That's
be.
what I think.
I can't say yeah or nay. That may be true. I've got enough evidence to say anything against that. That would be a smart move. You know, have him be a sacrificial lamb, is that he's being led to slaughter and gets more votes. Because the more they persecute him, you're right, the more people he attracts. I mean, black people as well. The more people, the more people, the bigger his poll numbers get. That's why he never had to show up at the Republican debate a couple nights ago. All the morons debating on the Republican debate stage. What was that, Wednesday night? I think the highest person over there has like.
I mean, you just said it though. Like they never did this with any other president in U.S. history but Trump.
I know.
So it's got to be a good reason why they doing it. Like, I mean, it just can't be because they don't want him to run again. Like, I don't know, like, because like you said, I ain't really got evidence on this either. But like, you know, I mean, from the way it looks to me, man, like it just basically like looks like they're just trying to give more credibility. So like he can gather up all the math, but then like he's gonna redirect them and mislead them somewhere.
Well, I don't know if he'd be able to do that. I think too many people now wait. If he goes in that office and start acting crazy, because a lot of these right wingers are not basing this on Trump no more. They're basing on the policies now. They're not based on the, even though he has become an occult personality, yes, but these people are laser focused on what is going to be done. They're not going to stand by and get a bunch of lip service. He's got the same policies of destruction because he's saying, he's saying he's going to stop these goopy wars. There's no reason for us to be in no goddamn Ukraine, right? You're giving $700 to people that, and understand those are direct energy weapons that were done in Mali. They want to gaslight. Our government is now turned against us, family. They're practicing what you call democide, right? We are the enemy towards them. They talk about all this depopulation nonsense. And so we are open threat to this goddamn other social media, certain things you can't say. That's why I won't even mention anything medical anymore, because they'll stop everything. So I should be able to say this politically. So they're going to stop this too, because see, the truth is the truth. Either it's the truth or it's not. See, they peddle nothing but lies, and lies always break down when it bump up against reality. See, lies always bump up and fall and crumble when it hits reality and the truth, right? Always crashes. So that's what we're dealing with. The country is rogue. There's no doubt. You got a wicked ass, pedophilic ass, criminal bastard as president. It's always been established as this. You got the mainstream media covering up all these crimes. You got the CIA, FBI. FBI is supposed to investigate shit. They investigate nothing. So, that is a control. All these agencies are captured now. There's no doubt you shouldn't be stupid. All the agencies, institutions are now captured institutions. They do not work in the benefit of the American people. They're captured. They work for the goddamn masters up at the top. They do not work for the common man. So we're living in a takeover from within of the country. That is obvious to see. It's madly obvious. He's out there talking crazy with these people after they've been goddamn burned up and burned out. Talking about, you know what, I almost lost my cat. Me and Jill, we was in a fire years ago and I almost lost my cat. And my group have had children burn up at home. You imagine being a child burning to death without your parents? Can you imagine that kind of horror? And this moron's talking about his cat. And it's, you know how disrespectful you gotta be? You know how horrible, how fucked up in the head you gotta be? And you come out talking this nonsense about lost my child that burned up alone, scared, fearful. And I'm listening to your ass. That's how you know he ain't win no election, fam. We are now a banana state. Powers that be create all these indie fake social media companies you can't say nothing to. You get fact checked and it's all lies. You're not allowed to say any truth on any of these guys because every last one of them was started by NQTel, which is a CIA brand corporation. Ain't it funny? CIA created Facebook. CIA created Google. CIA created Instagram. CIA created Twitter. But a little corporation called NQTel. And they tell you all these fanciful, fake-ass stories of Mark Zuckerberg, a front man, of Bill Gates. These are all front men. Elon Musk, don't let them do computer code, don't know shit. They're all morons. But the media tells you what are, right? Because that's the fake narrative that they brought in front of you. Because you're dealing with a complete ownership of the world. That's why you look at BlackRock and Vanguard. They own controlling shares in every business on this planet. Isn't that funny? Controlling shares of every business on this planet. Go ahead, Dan. You want to say something?
Yeah, now you remember we was talking about like how Pilot Flying J, you know what I'm saying, like which is owned by Berkshire Hathaway, you know, Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
Like now they about to institute these driverless trucks and stuff like that. So basically what Pilot is trying to do is they're trying to institute like basically do like what do you call that? Redesigning or reconstruction on these truck stops to make it fit
accommodate the automatic trucks.
Yeah.
So a couple of years you had this moron, this Professor Black shooting this other moron, Jason Black, we're talking about becoming a truck driver. But I told you they were already going to automate them. And you'd be best not to do this because you wouldn't have a long lasting career because they were going to bring automation to trucking because they wanted to have complete control of trucking. Because trucking is a little bit, it's almost like cowboys. Everybody's kind of free spirited, and they always would be one of the first people to protest anything that happens to them. So they had power with distribution of your food, distribution of anything that came to market. And the powers that be would try to make sure you didn't have no power to stop what they wanted to implement in this country. So they were going to roll out automatic trucks on the quick. And that's what we see happening right now, Dan. And what we see happening.
Yeah, they trying to stop another uprising like that.
Exactly.
What's that thing with the truckers up in Canada?
It was called the Freedom Convoy.
Yeah, they're trying to stop stuff like that. Like, cause like you said, they realize like you kind of free, like you're free to think. You know what I'm saying? Like move around. They want to stop all that.
Yeah,
man, but like I mean, but you know how many people gonna be out of a job? Like,
exactly.
Like, and what do you do with those?
Exactly. What do you do with them? Exactly.
I don't want to say too much.
Exactly. They're not going to do. Those are skills they have. A lot of cats are older, so when you have a moron kid to go in that field as a young person, and you know the field's already dissolving, these are idiots. I told you that these people are always they're agents. They talk about the same racial disparity nonsense that it's like you got you on a hamster chasing a wheel. You know, black people are emotional. You'll follow anything to its end, which has nothing to do with pushing you forward. You just talk about racism every damn show. Racism. Where ain't no racism exists in the country and throughout the world. But what are we going to do to maneuver ourselves to benefit ourselves, even though we're dealing with a racist paradigm? We can't be just listening to entertainment, talk about racism every day and stupid shit. It's the same moron told you that the COVID came from bats. Told you he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. He's dangerous, an idiot. Should be called out as one. Now, I'm not going to say too much. Every time I call him out, my channels get taken down. So I know some agent shit be going on. You know. But back in this year, family, back to what I'm talking about with the ECOWAS, right? So you had France decide they will give these puppets $3 billion to engage in this war. And so they deliberated, but I told you, if any of these bootlicking, handkerchief head, puppet ass Negroes from ECOWAS invaded Niger in any kind of way, they would be overthrown. You have real revolution in Africa because the people don't see them as leaders because they've done nothing but steal and rob and kill the people of these countries, whether it be Ghana, Togo, Benin, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire. So any of these morons decided to go and back the West, their people would overthrow their wicked, corrupt ass. Ghana was already boiling with this goofy Kona Nana doo-doo niggas stole the money. You got so much crazy shit going in Ghana, it's absolutely absurd that he ain't been taken out and put in jail immediately. The criminality in Ghana is absolutely crazy. Nigeria too, but you know, you got people in Ghana just showing up with millions of dollars everywhere. It's crazy. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, and I don't know how Nigeria think they was going to intervene in the Niger conflict. Like when a while back, I think back in 2017, what was it? The Minister of War was caught stealing all the money. Defense money.
What happened?
How you gonna go to war like that?
What happened?
You fight a war.
Sit again down to hear you then. Minister of what now?
Like you remember like in 2017, like the war minister in Nigeria was caught stealing the whole damn military budget.
Nah, I don't know about that. You gotta everybody knows what you know it now.
I told you one time, like
I don't remember that.
A Nigerian showed me the article on that, where he was put in trial, like and taken to jail because he was caught stealing their whole defense budget. So how you gonna intervene in the conflict and like you stealing your money to fight a war? Man, yeah, they need to get rid of them death spots, man. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's that. I ain't know nothing about that. I don't remember that. That's funny. Yeah, because the countries are so corrupt, they can't forge any real wars against another power. I've been said that. The countries are too corrupt, too from the top down, they're too corrupt. Have any real military movement on another country. They don't pay their military shit. And I'm not about to die in no desert for no Europeans that don't give a shit about me. And especially for no despots that don't give a shit about me. So that's a lose-lose for me. So what you see now that France has denied, Algeria has busted them out too. And France has asked Algeria to allow them to use their airspace to fly over and bomb Niger, bomb their mining sites. That's how wicked these motherfuckers. They already been caught up. You guys seen it when Burkina Faso asked all the and they also understand that they're severing all these fake contracts that these French installed after the independence movement back in the 1990s. All these fake ass contracts will never the benefit of those countries. But with Burkina Faso asking France to get out all their mining comes to get out, France start tearing up all the equipment. That's how wicked these people are. They say, well, okay, we're gonna just start fucking all the equipment up before we leave. Go ahead, Dan.
But see, here's the thing. We all know that Wagner Group, I'm saying, is in that part of Africa. Matter of fact, they spread it all through Africa. And see, this is what I'm talking about African countries leveraging their resources.
Yeah.
They get some 100 missiles. Those are also anti-air missiles too. So it's able to shoot down fighter jets and bombers and stuff like that. And I mean, that's what I would do. I would leverage my resources to Russia and get some of those S-500 missile systems.
What do you guys think about? What do you think about Prigozhin? What do you guys think about Prigozhin? Is Prigozhin really dead? What do you guys think about Prigozhin? Is Prigozhin dead? What do you guys think about Prigozhin? Is he dead, or is this another scam? Did he get blown up in that Russian airplane back on Wednesday, or is this another a fake scam?
I heard that, like, but I don't know how true that is, man. Like,
is anybody?
Because I heard like it was a rift between him and Coup.
Yeah, but has anybody seen the body? Has anybody seen his body been identified? Because remember,
that's what I'm saying. Nobody ever seen the body. Like, so how can you say a man was actually dead? That's like with the Bin Laden situation. They say they killed Bin Laden, but they didn't show us the body.
They killed Bin Laden 30 times. He was already dead. They killed Bin Laden. Bin Laden, you ever notice how Bin Laden got younger every year? When they first showed him, he was all gray. By the time they killed him, his gray was all gone. Was Bin Laden fucking with hair care for men? That what's that shit when they put that shit in their hair? Damn. What's that shit called? Damn, when they put in their hair? Like that men's.
You talking about men's? It's called men's. So it's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, was Bin Laden fucking with that hair? What's that shit called, family? What's that shit called? Hair something for men when they start dyeing their hair. I feel like I'm cleaning the gray out of my beard.
Well, I probably give me some of that. But anyway,
that would have been like, when they first started showing me he gray in his beard. By the time they kept showing me in the later years, motherfucking gray was all gone. Hair care for men, some shit that shit was called.
But yeah, like Putin, I guess Putin was worried that like he was too powerful. But see that guy, like the thing about him, he liked to be on the front line with his mercenaries, like setting up Claymore mines and, you know what I'm saying, shooting at targets and shit. Like, and I don't think that's a wise course of action. But like, that's one of the things Putin disagreed with him about. He's kind of a wild card, so to say, a wild man, a cowboy type.
Yeah,
just happens to be a billionaire.
Exactly. So, if he did, I don't know. If he did, I guess they're trying to, I don't know, you don't know what to believe. The news, you can't believe nothing it says no more. So I don't know whether he's dead, not dead, was this some kind of scam? I don't know. So.
Nah, but see, like I said, man, like if you're a warlord, well, I wouldn't say warlord, but if you're a general in Niger, like a guy like that is what you want. You want that cowboy type because he might be crazy enough to make.
Oh yeah, that was called Just for Men. That was called thanks to Just for Men hair care product. Now, was Bin Laden using Just for Men? was Bin Laden on that Just for Men shit? Because they killed him over and over again. He's trapped in Tora Bora. But we know he already died because he was on dialysis and he was a CIA asset all his life. It was a scam. Was no Osama bin Laden and a terrorist. And if you believe 5 dirty motherfuckers from a cave created 9/11, you are a moron. Okay? You're an absolute moron. You believe there's a plane that hit the Pentagon with no fuselage and no bodies. And then the last one hit Pennsylvania with no body. Well, yeah, plane crash. See, that's how bad and how dumbed down they've got us with this fake-ass media. And the FBI never doing any real investigation as far as 9/11 with. We know damn well for sure this was an inside job that they did it. but no terrorists fly no planes with no box cutters. Hold on now, I'm taking a plane. I got my box cutter. You sit down, taking a plane with my box cutter. The story is so absurd and idiotic that I feel sad that we believed him when we said it years ago. You was a conspiracy. Everybody's a conspiracy nut. That's why that all the conspiracy nuts have been proven correct. And they still haven't come up with 9/11. But we know nobody's taking with no plane with no goddamn box cutters. Watch out now, I got my box cutter. My box cutter, goddamn it. I got my whole box cutter on you. You got my box cutter. So we know there's no group of goddamn greasy head Saudis with box cutters take over planes. We know that's completely fucking absurd. And if you know anything about goddamn flights, there's always a U.S. Marshal on every flight who has a gun. So why didn't this U.S. Marshal who was on that plane shoot these terrorists in the back of their fucking head? Hey, I got my goddamn box cutter. Sit down. Got my box cutter. You just sit quietly in your seat. You're on the plane chilling. You the U.S. Marshal. You're like, got his box cutter. Cool. So you got, you slowly take your damn 9 off a safe and just let them do what they do. They got their box cutter. You walk around like you're about to get up and go use the bathroom. Then you get to blowing a motherfucker's head, blowing a motherfucker's brain out the back of their head. Huh? Oh, but everything was just too perfect all of a sudden. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, that's just what I'm about to say. Like a plane full of people gonna let a few men with box cutters hijack a plane and sacrifice all their lives, and nobody do nothing. They just sit there. And on top of that, it's a U.S. Marshal on board that's armed. Come on, man. I mean, who in their right mind would believe that? It just sounds phony from the beginning.
Yes, completely absurd. It's absurd to the 10th power. So, exactly. The whole story is absurd, but you couldn't investigate anything. You didn't want to talk about it. If you did talk, you're a conspiracy theory. That's the main thing the CIA, that's the key word the CIA created to keep people like us from questioning shit that don't look right, that don't smell right. That you observe, hey, something don't add up here. When they talk about building 7 fell, they were still standing. All these lies, just ridiculous, nonsensical things, right? So
I mean, who was the head of the World Trade Center security? Wasn't that Bush's cousin or his brother or something like that?
That was his brother. What a coincidence, huh?
Like in a few months before that event actually happened, they sprayed all the beans with thermite.
Yeah.
And nobody didn't think that was weird.
Yeah.
Now, thermite is just like basically it's a chemical that eats through steel, like metal. Basically, usually like when they trying to doing demolitions, which is why the building went down the way it did. Now, some investigative people when they tried to investigate the rubbish or whatever or the remains of the World Trade Center, they locked it away in hangars and wouldn't let nobody investigate it. And they just slowly got rid of everything. So the whole thing just seemed like it was just them trying to cover up a crime scene.
Yeah,
pretty much.
So it was bullshit. Let me see if I can come across some of these damn videos on TikTok talking about the same thing that's happening with these damn thing happening in Africa. So, and a lot of you guys send me emails about BRICS. And I'm not scared about BRICS because it's not a currency. Everybody's talking about 55 to 1. Eventually it's going to be a problem. But right now, no, because they're not really all together. You got a group of countries that really want to bring down the dollar, but they can't trust each other. And their currencies are garbage. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what I said. Their currencies are garbage. So
frenemies, like I said,
they're frenemies. They're frenemies. They don't trust each other. So I know you got, and like I said, this wouldn't be well for the African countries because they're not industrialized. So if I'm using my resources to come to the table, the more industrialized countries will have another benefit over me, so you be enslaved even more. So this shit benefits China. I'm glad a lot of people said on YouTube said when I said this thing would benefit China. That's why they did the people that created BRICS, coming out of Goldman Sachs, the same individuals that own the banking cartel here in America and in the city of London. It's another goddamn scam. It's phony, right? Fraudulent. So it's not a savior system. And all these people come together like the Indians and Chinese are century more than just the hell. They were fighting before Russia even existed. There was no Russia. If you go back to the wars with the Chinese and the Indians, they don't like each other at all. So
yeah, I think the Mongols had a lot to do with that years ago. Like they continuous excursions into the Indian subcontinent. But I give the Indians credit; they get their ass up.
Yeah, but still
not Mongols.
After even before the Mongols, they're fighting the Chinese, not the Mongols. They fight the Chinese even before the goddamn Mongols. So it's always been no love lost between India. That's why India has backed out of a little bit. You might as well call it the I in BRICS is mostly Iran and India. India's like, whoa, okay. India don't trust no Russia, no Chinese. And Russia doesn't want no more than the Indian currency, those rupees, because now they can't do shit with them. Because the damn, you guys remember the Indians were buying cheap Russian oil with the rupee. And now Russia got so many rupees, they can't do shit with them. Don't nobody want these damn Indian rupees. So shit don't work. They talk about they're gonna trade within their own currency, but the rupees, I can't do a damn thing with these fucking worthless ass rupees. So Russia doesn't want no more of the damn rupees. You keep that. Give me some dollars. I don't want these worthless ass rupees. See, that's the scam they keep telling. And that they're gonna easily get rid of the hegemony of the dollar. And it's just not that easy. Because these countries, like Dan said, are frenemies. They don't trust each other. And their economies are not strong enough to replace America's hegemony yet. They're not powerful enough. You know, we think China's on the verge of economic collapse. They just had one they named real estate companies filed for bankruptcy filed for bankruptcy. I think it was like $500 billion. It collapsed. So it's not as cut and dry as you think. That's happening. So, so don't let them go crazy with the BRICS. The BRICS. You got a moron on YouTube and TikTok. It's gonna be 55 to 1. And one BRICS is gonna be worth $55 to $1. How's that? How's that gonna work when their currencies are already fucked up right now? China's currency is lower than $1. Russia's lower than $1. So how them coming together, their currency's gonna be worth more than $1. That's idiotic, moronic talk. That's stupid. That's these black people hear shit. Don't never research shit, don't know economics. Yeah, nigga, it's gonna be 55 to 1, get ready. All that fear-based nonsense. Did you go check the value of the damn yuan? You go check the value of the Russian ruble, the Indian rupee. Did you check them against the dollar? So you said it's gonna be 55 to 1. Just because you come together, make your own currency, don't make your currency worth $55. But all your currency ain't worth shit now. See, it's illogical.
Motherfucker, man. Like, tell you the truth, bro. The petrodollar is the real reason why the Soviet Union collapsed. Like they during that Cold War BS. You know what I'm saying? Like the Soviet Union just couldn't keep up. Like, I mean, so they spinning, and a currency is steadily devaluing. That's going to eventually lead to a collapse because you're putting too much damn money, and that's exactly what happened. And they basically did that to try to keep up with the United States spending.
Yeah,
but the United States could afford to do that because of the petrodollar.
Yeah, it might be they exactly right. The Belt and Road Initiative that put other countries in debt, but everybody's aware of that shit. Jibber jabber, the bigger countries like a Russia and India, they're not gonna play along with that game. And like I said, Russia's not an old country. India and China are. Before you had a Russia, the Indians and the Chinese have never got along. So the Indians are never going to consider themselves underneath the Chinese in any goddamn thing. They're fighting on the borders right now with the Chinese trying to steal Indian land. They don't ever show you on TV that the Indians are knocking these Chinese in the mouth, right? All up what you call the Himalayan border where China's trying to claim Indian territory. And so every time they fight, the Indians whip their ass. so that's a story the Chinese don't want to tell you. You know, they've been fighting on the Himalayan borders again for at least the last 5 years, where China's been trying to assume parts of India's territory. And then
I was reading a story about how some Indian soldiers bust some damn Chinese soldier upside the head with a rock.
Yeah, they fucked the Chinese soldier. These are stories they don't want to tell you, because China was supposed to be they knew little empire. They knew it's what I'm looking for.
I found a few places near you.
What the hell going on? Talking that thing.
Yeah, but that's some difficult terrain to fight a war in.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult.
Like you can't use ground troops because it's difficult to maneuver and get around. You can't use
obviously not. The Indians up there heavy with their ground troops busting the Chinese in the head with rocks. So obviously not. Might be hard to put like you said, big military.
Those are light infantry and cavalry. Like the only thing you can move.
Yeah, it's probably light infantry. It's not. I'm sure it's not heavy mechanized vehicles, but whatever it is, they fucking these Chinese up. Whatever it is, they fucking these Chinese up. So the idea that they having open skirmishes on their border with another BRICS member doesn't bode too well for this BRICS currency becoming a success. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, Dan. That's it. I'm not saying too much. Let me see.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that petrodollar ain't gonna be that easy to remove, off the world stage like that. It's not unless China and Russia and these other countries want to trade their currency with gold, but you don't want to do that either because that means all your frenemies can make a claim on all your damn gold. And then you
Coup in Niger. The army supporters gathered at the French embassy in Niamey, hundreds of them. They set fire to the embassy's door. They also burned the French flag. Back in Paris, President Emmanuel Macron was spooked. He ordered a full evacuation. Around 600 French nationals lived in this country. All of them were pulled out. This military coup is definitely anti-democracy, but it's also anti-French. All symbols.
You can talk about this fake media talk, anti-democracy. There's no democracy if it's not the will of the people. What you see happen now is the will of the people. See, they're anti-will of the people. Democracy is a mockery. That's the nonsense they want to tell you about democracy. It does not exist. The CIA and MI6 and the Mossad install these puppets to do their bidding.
France have been targeted, their embassy, their flag, and also their military base. But why the animosity? And why towards France and not other countries? The answer lies in Niger's history. In fact, the history of West Africa. This region was colonized by France from the late 19th century. They became independent after the Second World War, but unlike other colonizers, France never left. Their influence and presence continued to.
Then none of them leave. The English are not out of Kenya and Nigeria. Then none of them leave. Just that France was overbearing, but not leaving. They didn't hide. The other ones, they didn't leave. They got military bases. You got military bases all through Nigeria and other places that the British control. They're just not out in front. They're a little bit more inconspicuous than the French. French in your face.
Linger. Why is that? Time for a flashback. begin from the 16th century. That's when France became interested in Africa. The reason was slaves. The French were the third biggest slave traders. They took around 1.3 million Africans to their colonies in the Americas. Around 200,000 people never made it. They perished at sea. As the slave trade developed, France needed ports. They got one in 1659 here in St. Louis in Senegal. For a long time, French interests were limited to coastal Africa. The interiors were untouched. But in the 19th century, that changed. There were two reasons for that. One was the domestic rivalry back home. The European powers were already competing with each other. Africa became a new theater. And reason number two was resources. Europe needed to feed its expanding industries. They zeroed in on this area. It was called the Gold Coast. There was gold, oil, and much more there. The French expansion began from Senegal. In 1854, General Louis Faidherbe was appointed governor. He quickly got down to business. Under his rule, French control was extended to Gambia. But his ambitions were bigger. He wanted to conquer the Niger Delta and Mali. His government was not so keen though. They thought it would be too expensive, so the expansion project was paused. It would resume in the 1880s. This was the beginning of the scramble for Africa. No shadow wars anymore. European armies were marching across the continent. They were picking off countries one by one. This inevitably led to fighting between European powers, so the German chancellor proposed a plan. This man, Otto von Bismarck, he brought all the European countries together in Berlin. In 1885, these countries signed the Berlin Act. It formalized the scramble for Africa, and the logic was quite simple. Instead of fighting each other, let's carve up the continent. Each country gets its own colony. And no, the Africans were not consulted. In the 1880s, almost 80% of the continent was ruled by the locals, kings, sultans, and tribal chiefs. By 1900, it was flipped. Around 90% of Africa was colonized by Europe, and Niger was part of this. In 1899, two French officers were put on the job. Captain Paul Vollet would lead this mission, and the second in command was Julien Chanoine. Both men had one thing in common, their bloodlust. They set off from Dakar in Senegal. Their job was this: explore Chad and Niger, gather local intelligence, reach the Sudan, and return. Basically create this ribbon of French territory, from Senegal in the west to the Sudan in the east. Captain Vollet had a reputation. He led the French conquest of Burkina Faso in 1896. He was ambitious and brutal. His expedition to the Sudan is called many things: the Killer Trail, the African Apocalypse, the Heart of Darkness. Gives you an idea of what went down. It was one of the most violent and bloody episodes in colonial history, not just in Africa, but the whole world. Vollet's mission was not well funded, so at the first village he reached, he demanded porters. He needed people to carry things. And the locals denied. He razed the entire village. Around 100 people wiped out. It was a sign of things to come. Vollet often refused to feed his camp followers. When they complained, he killed them. Men, women, and children were bayoneted to death. Not shot, bayoneted. Because Vollet wanted to save bullets. Such massacres followed him everywhere. It was so bad that word reached the French government in Paris. Vollet's own soldiers were horrified by the violence. Some of them deserted. When Paris got to know, they ordered Vollet and Chanoine to be arrested. They deputed a French officer from Mali. He followed the expedition's trail to catch them. What he saw was blood-curdling. At one village, around 1,000 corpses had been left in the open. Bodies of young girls were hanging from trees.
Oh, shit. Damn. Oh, shit. I gotta get this soda, man. Give me a second to that paper towel. But these are stories you never hear about. These Holocausts over and over again throughout Africa. You never hear nothing about them. You know, straight crazy. Straight crazy. Oh, give me a second, guys. Let me get something to wipe this damn soda.
People were terrified by the French flag. It was a sign of impending death. The bid to arrest Vollet and Chanoine did not work. In the end, both were killed by their own soldiers, but the mission continued. French troops marched through the Sahara and secured the region. Their African project was complete. It looked like this: a federation of 8 territories: Mauritania, Senegal, Mali, Guinea, Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, Benin, and Niger. The capital was Dakar. This whole region was called French West Africa. Fun fact, it was 8 times bigger than European France. So how did they control it? The same way they captured it, using brute force. France did face rebellions in the first decades after the conquest, like the Tuareg rebellion of 1960. The Tuaregs are an ethnic group living in the Saharas. In Niger, they live in the country's north. When the Tuaregs rebelled, France crushed them. Summary executions were the norm. It was through these crackdowns that Paris held on to its colonies. Many of them fought wars for France. Around 2.5 million Africans were part of the First World War, another 1 million in the Second World War. These people were not French citizens, they were French subjects. And that equation changed only after the Second World War in 1946. Niger, along with other colonies, became overseas territories. They got seats in parliament, and with elections came political parties. The most important one was the PPN, the Progressive Party of Niger. 2 men came to dominate this party, the radical Jibo Bakari and the moderate Hamani Diori. They were cousins, also rivals. An important moment came in 1958. France had adopted a new constitution. Its colonies now had to vote on it, sort of like a referendum. If Niger passed it, the country would remain in the French community. The cousin politicians chose different sides. The radical Bakari called for a boycott. But Diori said, let's vote yes. He did not want independence yet. He wanted more autonomy within France, and he prevailed in 1958. Around 72% of Niger's citizens voted to approve the constitution. He also became the new president. But the tide was slowly shifting. Dissent was growing in parts of Niger, especially the northern deserts. So in 1960, France had to give in. They agreed to grant independence to Niger. Diori was elected president again. He banned all other parties, cracked down on rivals, and ruled like an autocrat. Now, normally the story would end here. But in West Africa, it does not. France began acting like a toxic ex, hanging around too much or meddling for no reason. This policy has a name too, France-Afrique, a sphere of French influence in West Africa. It was the brainchild of this man, former French President Charles de Gaulle. He asked his advisors to build up France-Afrique in 1962. And how did they do that? By building personal networks. France propped up leaders, often dictators in West Africa. They gave them military support, a little aid, and a whole lot of French glamour. What did they get in return? Resources and influence. More than 1,000 French companies operate in West Africa. They have the third biggest investments. First is America, second is Britain. They also have soldiers there. France has deployed 3,000 troops in Africa. Around half of them are in Niger. Their job is to fight terror groups, but you can see why this is problematic. Imagine Britain stationing soldiers in India. Terrorism or not, it's an affront. From the 1980s, French presidents have promised to dilute France-Afrique. Macron has done so too, but their actions suggest the opposite. I have some trivia for you. 14 countries in Africa use the same currency. It's called the CFA franc. It was created back in 1945, before African independence. But even today, 14 countries use it. And I'll tell you how it works. West African countries deposit 50% of their reserves at the French treasury. In return, they can use the CFA franc. Its value is pegged to the euro. France says the currency brings stability to West Africa, but it also brings trauma, the trauma of a colonial past. The CFA franc is often called monetary servitude. It is one of the many reminders of French colonialism. Now you know why people in Niger dislike France. They plundered and razed entire villages, raped and mutilated women and children, imposed a colonial currency on them, and most importantly, refused to leave. France is a strange case. Most countries are blamed for their colonial policies, but France is also blamed for its post-colonial policies. Of course, that does not justify the coup.
That does justify the coup. But I got built. I ain't did a show in 2 months, 2.5 months. I got built. When we left here, when they took out the channel, we had 1,000 people in the damn. We got the 1,000 people viewing us. See, because this is what they do. To control the information, they must keep constantly taking you down. You got to start from scratch all over again, all the time, rebuilding yourself up every time. Like this TikTok. You guys on TikTok, their kids? Okay. But, everybody on TikTok, I asked you guys to go join. Shit. My damn, so hot, and I think my AC then went out. Shit. Well, you guys want to join TikTok, you go and just hit the button, had you guys join. But, as you see here, it's so like I said, these puppets have finally been exposed for the puppets that they are, right? And now they decide not to go in because, like I said, they would be overthrown. They'd be overthrown over there. Because you got the African youth now waking up across the continent. And it's a danger to all these puppets. And as the young man from Burkina Faso told all these puppets up there at that Russian summit by saying, my generation is asking, how's it that we sit on the richest continent and our people are impoverished? And when these puppets were looking all crazy. And then he specifically told them, hey, Putin, you got a lot of Western puppets up in here. I loved it. They got a lot of Western puppets up in this bitch. And so they've been forced to now do some things they didn't want to do. You got Museveni now kicking out everybody, all the Europeans out. You got Kagame over there putting a curfew in because they're afraid of now getting overthrown. These puppets are afraid of getting overthrown. That's a good thing. So, as far as any other individual telling you these, I told these fake ass FBA niggas and these fake Africans don't like you, that's a lie. You see now coming together between African Americans and that's why they wanted to put this fake FBA, these fake morons talking about cut the check shit. Now you see your dollar's not worth any goddamn thing. You needed land, not any checks. All this fucking moronic shit you've been listening to. Agent talk, trying to split African people or black people up to divide and conquer. Because you got so many of these fucking moronic ass FBA morons given a title by this goddamn hustler idiot. And I think that the Africans against them. It's not, you see the unification of African people globally, from the Caribbean to America to Canada to Brazil. What you seeing happen now. And it's fun, that's why I got on this TikTok. And shout out to Big Cheese. You guys know what on that TikTok. I've been on TikTok. But now TikTok is like the old YouTube. You can actually say what you want to say on that crazy ass shit for a little bit. I mean, they're taking down some people's pages. But for the most part, I've been able to say what I wanted to say on that goofy app. It's been the most decent app here recently of uniting black people. Way more than YouTube. You find better content on TikTok than you find on any platform. Isn't that funny? You find better content, honest content on TikTok than you find on any of these platforms, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, whatever shit called. More honest commentary I found on this TikTok than anything else. And you guys know I was completely against it. Now I'm bought all in. Yeah. Shit, a lot of people that follow me over there. I never even posted a video. I was like 5,000 followers, whatever the hell. I never even posted one video over there. What's going on, Lando? There is a diplomatic relationship with the United States since who? Who are you talking about? Diplomatic relationship with who? With Niger or what? From 1960 to now. Who are you talking about, Lando? What people are we talking about?
Anyone who's
Like over there. New York was already there for thousands of years. San Francisco was there for thousands of years. Los Angeles.
These blue tendrils started China.
There you go. 2023.
I don't vote for you. Brain talking about something took over me. Cause I'm dying. I'm fighting. I'm telling you, I'm fighting with every fiber of my being. I'm out here by myself. I don't have nobody. My whole family turned their back on me, baby. I've been scraping and scrapping for nickels and pennies, eating salads. Baby, I'm in this thing to win this thing because they're going to kill us anyway. So why not die?
Not baby. Scraping and scrapping. I mean, this thing. It's like she's from Louisiana.
Fighting. I hope you get aboard. Let's talk about it, honey. Let's let them know. You're going to kill us. So guess what? I'm in this thing. I'm going to keep talking, child. I'm going to keep talking. Because ain't no stopping them. So why not we put up this fight? Put up this wall. It's a fight for the soul of the nation. So somebody got to get in the fight for the light. I don't know what's taking over me. I'm just going with the flow. Sometimes I'll be amazed at myself. Daphne, where's you getting all this stuff?
Because the blacks were obsessed with white fever. They wanted acceptance. And so whites, when they found out that a black was flattered when he heard the statement, "You're not like the others. If the blacks were just like you, we wouldn't have a race problem." He began to smile and straighten out his bow tie and dream lofty dreams. How one day he would be a part of the corporate 500, maybe the first black in the White House, maybe the first president of the corporate 500 in America. That kind of syndrome caused the black to leave his people psychologically. He may ride through the hood from time to time. Psychologically, he's not there. His entire life has been spent trying to find a way to get away from the black masses. When Jews live among Jews, they say, well, that's natural, it's religious. When Japanese live among Japanese, they say, well, that's cultural. When white people live among white people, they say, well, that's certainly natural. But when black people live among black people, it is said that's segregation. Break it up. Because blacks couldn't possibly want to live among themselves. They couldn't possibly want to go to school with themselves. They couldn't possibly want to work for another black business. This syndrome that has been perpetuated by a group of whites who've made money in the black community and did not want any blacks in business. In fact, wrote into the charter of the NAACP when it was founded that the NAACP couldn't even own land. They wanted to assure there would be no competition. They couldn't do it in the white world. In the white world, that would be called a monopoly or antitrust, and they might have to go to jail. Certainly pay a fine. In the black community, they could masquerade with these hand-picked Negro leaders or so-called leaders who had as their agenda to disappear because the blacks were.
So what he's saying, we've had puppets all along throughout Africa. White supremacists the same everywhere. Puppets in America, puppets in Africa, puppets in South America, puppets in the Caribbean. It's been the same thing of white power that we've been dealing with. Fake, phony leaders that never represented black people. And that's what we've been dealing with.
The pressure is getting worse. So guys, the Jamaicans and the black Africans living in the diaspora are sending a strong warning to the Nigerians and ECOWAS. Yes, according to them, they say if they support.
Yeah, he told the Jamaicans even get the backbone. He told the Nigerians, if you go into Nigeria, we're going to butcher you people. Jamaicans told the Nigerians, we're going to butcher your ass if you go into Niger. He said, we're going to butcher your ass.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu to use military intervention in Niger to kill their own black people. Then they will start slaughtering all the Nigerians they know, and they will come to Nigeria to destroy Nigeria. I don't want to say anything with my mouth. Please take your time and listen to the video I'm about to play. It's very serious. Yes, and this one is not about Nigeria alone, but ECOWAS, the ECOWAS countries. Keep talking to your president and your head of state so that they should stay away from Niger. Yes. Listen to this video. Don't forget to share, follow, and like.
Nigerians, you better be careful. You know, we as black people scattered around the world. We still remember slavery. And if you want to join with the colonizers, if there's a war in Africa, if French launch any war against Africans, and you Nigerians join it, we, the black people, I know a lot of black people, would come and kill some of you Nigerians. Yeah? Any Nigerians that support this with the French government, the colonizers, yeah? We are coming to Africa just as how people volunteer to fight in Ukraine. We are coming. We black people from the other side of the world are coming to fight and kill every Nigerians that support the French. We don't forget where we're coming from as black people. And some of you Nigerians, look at your president. Look at your whole president. But when you leave Nigeria, you go to America, you go to England, you go to Canada, you want to act as if you're so intellectual, especially trying to show off on African Americans. When you leave, when you don't have a good president, just be careful. If any Nigerians that launch any attack on any African country, we are coming to fight. Because we want to get rid of you who try to set us back as black people. Yes, we are coming. Millions of black people gonna pour into Africa to just to kill out some of you. Kill both you, the French, who try to set back Africa in any shape or form. So Nigerians, you better set your government straight and don't try to set back Africa with no colonizers, because we are gonna butcher you people. Because we still hungry and upset about slavery. And if you want to set back Africans that way, we are coming. We are coming by the thousands. And you already have Boko Haram there that don't support your government. So we're gonna come. So
I know the brother knows that Boko Haram is nothing more than the West. That's their fake terrorism group that they've set up to keep stealing resources out of Africa. All these fake terrorist groups, democracy as they come. We must go help the African space to fight the terrorist groups that never existed until white people showed up. Funny, never existed. No funding, no jobs there. So all this Boko Haram getting gas and running through the Sahel and ready to fight everywhere from Nigeria to Niger to Chad to Burkina Faso to Mali, Guinea. Where's the money coming from? Ain't nobody got no 9 to 5. Who's paying for the gas and all these motorcycles they be running on all these weapons? You know. But as black people, we're supposed to be foolish. And all these morons keep on the fake stream media keep talking about restoring democracy when there's never been any democracy in Africa since the white man has stepped his fucked up feet on the soil. There's never been any equality, any fair, any sense of fair play since he stepped his raggedy ass on the continent. It's been a complete killing, stealing, raping, pillaging. That's what's going on. So he just sophisticated his raping, killing, stealing, pillaging, and renaming it democracy, because these elections are controlled by them, not by the people. So it's still the same manipulation of power to make sure they extract the resources out of said country that they dominate. That's why they got NGOs with spies running all throughout Mama Africa. Because without Africa, the European delves back into poverty. There are no resources in Europe. See, this is the dirty little secret as you see France goes into the dark. By not having Niger's uranium, you have massive blackouts all across France right now. While they try to call African people poor, African people have never been impoverished until the European got there and started stealing, killing, robbing, pillaging, and everything else. Africa's been used to build Europe, build Asia, build America, build South America, but never been allowed to use its own resources to build and defend itself. It has been used as a resource colony, and the youth are now finally saying, enough is enough. So they will have to do many coups again, these other coups that the CIA put or French intelligence put to benefit them. Whenever you got a righteous leader in that was going to make sure that the resources benefit the people, they were bumped out by these coups, and the European powers never gave a shit about it. They never gave a goddamn about any of it. Ain't that funny? Never cared about any of these damn coups that was backed by them. He never got indignant about the coups that they put on Kwame Nkrumah, about the coup they put on Thomas and Carter, about the coup they put on Patrice Lumumba. Never cared about none of those coups. Those are good coups, and they stalled their puppets for 30 and 40 years over there. You're never concerned about that. They were never upset about that. Never upset about any of that.
In his last interview with Gloria Valdez, I ain't trying to
India on the moon.
There's seriously nothing cooler than fat cow.
So true. Check this out. That was Lethal Lex. She's an amazing person and the actual founder of the BLM Utah chapter. Go check her out. Now, when a person sees a black cowboy and they think that idea doesn't make sense because all we've ever seen are white cowboys, you would be 100% factually wrong. The very first cowboys were black, beginning with the actual term. White men who worked the ranch were called cowhands. Black men who worked the ranch were called cowboy. Yes, the actual term is stooped. The
United States government gave millions of dollars to the United States military chemical and bacteriological warfare establishment at Fort Detrick. They began experimenting with the AIDS virus. I knew about the AIDS 3 years before the word ever came out.
Everything's to disrupt our excellence.
Because of my field work in Sierra Leone.
Yeah, still over here.
The British government used their Porton Down CAB facility. It's easier to get into the Bank of England vaults than to get into Porton Down. All the deadliest viruses in the world are being crafted there. In pursuance of the goal of Global 2000 to decimate the world. Shortly after this experiment had finished at Fort Detrick, the World Health Organization started a massive vaccination campaign. They said, for once and for all, we can wipe out the scourge of smallpox. They chose Africa and Brazil, launched a massive vaccination campaign.
I wonder why Brazil.
AIDS began to appear.
Africa and Brazil. I wonder why Brazil. So I guess they got a big African population down in Brazil.
Thousands and thousands of people began dying of the strange new virus, which the World Health Organization then said had come from the bite of a green monkey. They forgot to tell you the green monkey has been there for centuries, and he'd been biting people if he ever did for centuries, but no disease of that nature had ever occurred. The World Health Organization deliberately took this virus, which was crafted from a series of animal viruses, including Mediavisna sheep, which destroys the brain, which is why you find AIDS patients get dementia probably first before any of the other AIDS-related complex diseases appear. And they began vaccinating innocent people on a massive scale, and they began dying like flies. Why Africa and why Brazil? Because those two countries had the biggest black population in the world. And I want to tell the black people of the United States of America, do not trust the Democrat Party. Do not trust government. Do not believe that government is your friend. To you, to them you are dispensable, the same way as we are. Millions of people died. I went through Uganda on an inspection tour, and I saw whole areas decimated where previously there had been small towns and villages. There was not a living soul in sight. And that is going on today. The AIDS epidemic is completely out of hand. It swept the world. It's been swept under the carpet in the United States of America. We were told that this is a disease which is passed by homosexuals. True enough, but that's not the primary cause of it. This is a crafted virus that was spread throughout the world to decimate the population. The United States government gave millions of dollars to the United States military chemical and bacteriological warfare establishment at Fort Detrick.
From the horse's mouth.
What if I told you?
Since you have fallen from godhood, when you were at the human, the spirit world don't give a damn what you do down there. They don't even care about that go down. They don't even notice you at times. So all this stuff about everything is of some divine order. But everything you do as far as who you screwed last night, all this stuff that you call sin, that's good for behavior. That didn't even come about by the ancient people. They didn't even go by that stuff. They only went by the divine knowledge on how to lift yourself back up to God. That's the key to the mystery. You were God, you fell, and the key to the mystery is to go back to God. Not how you wear, not whether you wear a doggone veil, not whether how many times you pray, and all that kind of stuff. They don't get into that. They're cultural. The meditation is the highest form of prayer. You see? When you do pray, you're asking God for questions. When you meditate, you're supposed to receive answers.
Now, how come you can't do it? You don't want that. I'm so mad. A homeless one. What?
The BRICS group has no headquarters, no rule book, no procedures, no membership application process, but it's already changing the world. I've been talking to financial experts about the group whose biggest members are India and China. There are 15 things you need to know. Number one, for the first time, the US is set to lose its rich guy advantage over the rest of the world, as an expanded BRICS would immediately have a GDP 30% larger than the United States and a much faster rate of growth. Number two, for the first time, America's oil advantages will be lost, as an expanded BRICS would control 60% of global oil reserves. Number three, for the first time, a single cooperative group of people will control the majority of critical minerals that the world now needs. Now, America has ordered its businesses and those of certain nations to stop selling high-end chips that China needs for general development, not military development, but general development, as US scholars have confirmed. America's not playing a nice game there. BRICS could play America's game, but with critical minerals instead. Number four, for the first time, an international body.
You understand, this is all nonsense. Remember, talking about Goldman Sachs, the same people that created the dollar, created BRICS. This is supposed to, this moron is not letting you know that this is their new hustle. Destroy the American dollar and move everything over to the system. It's not going to work. He's talking all this crazy shit. He's an Indian. And he should know the Indians don't even get along with the Chinese, and they have pulled out of the BRICS most likely. You know, they've taken a back seat. That this moron here is not even mentioning. Oh, yeah, this is what's going to happen. This is propaganda, what he's doing. This is paid propaganda here. And he's an Indian. He don't know his own country, have stepped back from the BRICS. They're not even interested in taking over the dollar. This is his own country, the India. India that he's talking about. It's fucking Indian here. You don't know that? So this is propaganda. That's what this is.
China finally caved into Saudi Arabia and invited them to join Arabia oil for over last year. Saudi. So
then you find out. So okay, go. I gotta tell the truth. Yeah. Oh, Saudi Arabia's using the one. Saudi Arabia said we're not gonna use that shit. We'll lose money. See, some shit that last Indian dude wasn't telling you. Now I'm going back. So I don't know who this white guy is, but let's see. Right? See if he gets a little bit of right. Concerning this BRICS. And they give you all this propaganda everywhere.
Arabia asked to join BRICS. As a result, the president of China visited Saudi Arabia and asked the king if he was willing to sell his oil for yuan. The king politely said no. While China was able to buy natural gas from the country with the yuan, they were not willing to budge on the petrodollar. Since then, China was withholding Saudi Arabia's ability to join the BRICS nations until the other day. At the Johannesburg summit in South Africa, the BRICS nations invited Ethiopia, Argentina, Egypt, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and Iran to join the alliance. It's not a military alliance, it's just an economic union outside of the dollar network. The official joining date will be January 1st of 2024, and Saudi Arabia said that they appreciate the invitation and they will take the appropriate decision, that they're mulling things over. And I have to take my hat off to Saudi Arabia because they have played the US and China very well. Right now, Saudi Arabia enjoys all the benefits and perks of the petrodollar and petrodollar recycling. they do decide to join BRICS, which I think there's at least a 50% chance that they will, then they will get all of the trade benefits of trading within these nations. China's economy is experiencing deflation right now, which means they are headed for a recession, and they need to expand BRICS membership as much as they can to get as many benefits as they possibly can to mitigate this disaster. With the inclusion of these 6 other countries, the BRICS nations now have 46% of the world's population, 40% of oil reserves. Pause to read the rest because this is a very impressive distribution of the resources that BRICS will now have at their disposal. But there is a huge problem within the BRICS nations, the original and the other 6 that they've included. While all of these countries are not a fan of the US and the dollar dominance that they have, none of these countries are very ideologically aligned. While Brazil, India, and South Africa are more about expanding trade and economic growth, Russia and China are more about replacing the US as the world's main economic power. Russia and China are dictatorships, which means there's no economic cooperation. What they say goes. Now, Russia will do whatever China says, but that's not going to be the case for Brazil, India, or South Africa. That especially extends to Saudi Arabia, who is a major US ally and will choose whatever direction they want to go. Argentina, who's expressed interest in joining BRICS, has a leading presidential candidate saying that he has no interest in joining such a thing, and I wouldn't be surprised if the US helps him win. And even with the Johannesburg meeting with the BRICS nations, something fishy happened with Xi Jinping. He was supposed to deliver a key speech and then just dropped out of it. Somebody else read it for him. So people are wondering, is there some kind of like civil discontent that happened in China, or did he just get sick? But the most important thing about this post by far was that in the entire duration of that BRICS summit for 3 days, there was not one mention of the release of the BRICS currency, which had flooded social media for weeks. There were claims that 55...
That's what I said. It's claim, he's about to say it. I never seen this video yet. Yeah, those claims going to be 55-1. I was like, what? Which one of these morons that go back and actually look at what are the currency trading on the world market as of today? Or when they were making these dumb TikTok and YouTube videos, 55-1. Oh, you know what's gonna happen? Pack of meat gonna be $385, y'all. I'm like, what? Hey, morons on you, especially you goopy Negroes on TikTok and YouTube, you morons, shut the fuck up. You don't understand how economics work. You get a hold of some goddamn propaganda and you just continue because you want more views and clicks. You don't know what the fuck you're saying. So when people were asking me through my African staff, who was going to say, don't, BRICS is phony. It's not even a currency. It will not be no 55-1. Don't listen to these morons on social media. They have no idea what the hell they're talking about. So any moron can have a TikTok and YouTube channel and spew all kind of nonsense without having any facts to back it up. That makes it better for their algorithm. Just say all kind of dumb shit and people listen to you. The Russian ruble is low. China's yuan is low, but they purposely devalue the currency so they can sell more products to us. I think it's even more than that, than the devaluing it. I think they're like you said. I was reading the same tea leaves that they're headed for a major recession, just like us, just like the same way we are. We are in a major, we're almost in hyperinflation. To tell the truth, can't nobody afford shit. Prices are still going up, while dollar doesn't buy shit. So we're in a really bad spot ourselves. But it's not like anybody else is in a better position either. So when we know 55-1, like I said earlier, dealing with the rupee, the Russians were allowing the Indians to use the rupee to pay for their oil. Then they said we can't use no more of this shit. We got nowhere to put it. We can't buy shit with this Indian rupee. It's worthless. So no more you buying our oil in your currency. See, because it doesn't work. So at the end of the day, even though the dollar is weaker, the dollar is still king out there. Because these people don't even trust each other. These governments are all despotic, from India to Russia to China. They don't trust each other. So some loosely based bullshit. All those white guys be telling the truth.
US dollars would be equaling 1 unit of BRICS currency, and that was going to be unveiled at that summit. Did it happen? No. All that happened in this BRICS summit was the inviting of 6 out of the 43 nations that applied to join BRICS. China and Russia stroked their own egos, saying that they were going to be the future of the world economy and that dollar hegemony was at its end. While India, Brazil, South Africa just looked at each other, nodding their heads, saying, okay, sure. China finally caved into Saudi Arabia and invited them to join BRICS.
I'm going to leave.
So you think you're English? You think you're Anglo-Saxon? I wish some of you would go to England and say some of these things to these white people, because they'll quickly put you in your place and tell you to go back to Africa. You are the only ones who don't know where you're from, and it's really sad. Yes, you speak patois. What do you think patois is made up of? A lot of it is African words. And if you really want to know what tribes...
White folks especially hate autonomous black happiness. They do not like when we are by ourselves doing our own shit. They cannot stand that shit. They don't even like us in a group. Like in Chicago, there used to be a thing, if you were 5 or more black guys on the corner, the police break it up. It's called mob action. It's like, what's going on here? If you're at work and you're a black employee and you're talking to another black employee, the white boss go, hey, what's going on over there? You know what I mean? And I went to a very white university, and then when the black students hung out with each other, the white students are like, oh, you guys hang out, you don't mix with us. I go, are you fucking kidding me right now, you delusional clown? It's 40,000, 45,000 white students and 800 black. Who the fuck do you think I'm gonna hang out with? They would do shit like this. Anytime they see us get together in any kind of way, we could be at a cafe and black people could just be drinking coffee, laughing. All of a sudden, white people are like, oh boy, Negro, so loud. Excuse me, someone, can we turn down this Negro sound? You know, it's like fucked up. Like anytime we have our own shit, whites always gotta have their hand in our shit. They always gotta be part of it. And if they're not part of it, then we're back to being niggas, we're back to being coons and spades and all this other dumb shit. You understand where I'm coming from? Well, let's bring it back to our point. Okay. My fault, people. You know, I snapped. My bad.
All right, fam, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'll be back on twice tomorrow, but like I said, I'll be here all the time on the weekends. Gotta build back up the channels again. Got nobody hardly up in here, no we even live no more, so gotta build everything back up. So with that, family, I'll wrap this joint up. Say much love to everybody. All right. Black, hot, hey, come on, we out. I'll be back on twice tomorrow, family. 2 times. Black, hot, bye. I'm back. Feels good to be back, family. Been 2.5 months since I've been up on this joint. Ain't been on here since early June. Black, hot, higher. Come on. Everybody have a wonderful night. As we proceed to give you what you need, everybody smash that like button on your way out. Hit the follow page if you're on TikTok. Follow page if you're on Facebook. If you're on X over there, whatever that shit's called. If you're on the radio, be loud and clear. Shout out to everybody on Spotify. Shout out to everybody on Spreaker. Everybody on all podcasting platforms. Black, hot, fire. Come on. Woo! Bring them on. School's back out, stupid. Black, hot, fire. Come on. So much love to everybody on YouTube, much love to everybody on Facebook, much love to everybody that was on TikTok, much love to everybody that was on Rumble. Black, hot, fire, come on. Woo! All right, all right, all right, all right. We out here, fam. Black, hot, fire. I've been delicate in my duties. I'm back. I'm back every weekend now to proceed to give you what you need. Black, hot, fire. Woo! Keep it in the pocket. Woo! Black, hot, fire. Come on. Reload. Black, hot, fire. Black, hot, fire. We out. Black, hot, fire. Come on. Woo! Woo! Black, hot, fire. Yeah. Much love, family. Everybody have a good afternoon. Good night. Everybody in the AM. I gotta call somebody got my goddamn air conditioning. God damn. This shit blowing when ain't nothing cool in this bitch. So peace and love, family. I say everybody twice tomorrow. Everybody have a good night. Stay safe. Stay black. Stay strong. And much love. Peace. I'm out.